Rebuild of the Cleveland, not Cleveland, Cincinnati Bengals. Um, End of year two. I'll give you a rundown as to how the team's done for the season and as to what happened in the Wild Card Divisionals Championship Super Bowl and how the team's looking. Before we go ahead with this year's draft class, just update a few things on here quickly. Of course, if you've got any questions, fire away. Try to answer the best I can. We'll start with how everything stood for the season. So, in the AFC North, the Ravens took the division. Browns qualified as well in wild card. My team for this season wasn't much of an improvement on last year. Ended up 6-11, but the new quarterback that I brought in from the first year's draft did show quite a bit of improvement. I think the first season I went 5-11, so it was only one game better off, but got rid of Andy Dalton finally. Brought in a quarterback from the first round draft, which showed X Factor superstar potential, and yeah, he's been promising so far. Hopefully it means that the team will get better as the year goes on. In the South AFC, Texans took the division on 10-6. Jaguars missed out even though they had same win-loss record through to points scored against. Colts and Titans. In the East, the Patriots, the 11th best ranked team, but they won for division. Bills missed out there. Jets and Dolphins. Dolphins were appalling in year one, surprise, surprise, but they did a bit better there. And for West, not much of a surprise here. But Kansas City Chiefs won for Western Division. Chargers, mind you, I was quite surprised by that, 11-5. And then Raiders, Broncos, the very worst team, getting the first pick in the upcoming draft. In the NFC, for North, you've got the Bears, 8-8. Lions were also 8-8. Once again, they had a worse points scored against ratio. Packers were 7-9. Vikings 6-10. In the South, you got Panthers winning the divisional 11-5. Falcons 10-6 qualified as well. Saints missed out on a 9-7, and Buccaneers 5-11. In the East, Cowboys, number one seeds, 2 years in a row, were beating the finalists last year. 12-4 record. They lost to the Texans in the final the year before. Giants qualified as well on 10-6. Eagles, Redskins. In the West, it was the Seahawks who qualified. Cardinals were 6-10 with the 49ers, and the Rams, terrible there, 4-11 with one tie. When it came to the wild cards, Ravens beat the Browns. Seattle beat New York. New England lost at home against the Chargers, and Chicago Bears beat the Atlanta Falcons. For divisionals, Kansas City beat the Chargers. Dallas lost at home against Chicago. Houston, last year's champions, beat the Ravens, and the Panthers lost at home against Seattle. When it came to the conference games, Kansas City against Houston, massive scoring game there. They're beaten. Texans, last year's champions, got beaten there, 44-30, which meant that the Chiefs came up against the Bears, who won away against Seattle 10-16, and in the final, Kansas City won it 23-17. This is how my team's looking now, after the off season and doing some trades. Nicholson is my starter quarterback, who I got in the first round of last year's draft. X Factor potential. And then I've got Bressett in behind him, and a lot of Bressett I may well get rid of and just keep Lock as the number 2 QB there. Running backs, Joe Mixon, fantastic player, improving every year. Youth is on his side there. I've got Johnson Jr. as a backup, but I think he's in the final year of his contract now. And then 3 young players here as well that show a bit of potential, but I'm a bit unsure as to who I'm going to keep so far. Anderson's been my number 3 running back, but may well get rid of him, Williams, and just keep Walton Jr. Fullback, I've got Stroller. Wide receivers, got Boyd, Ross the Third, Reynolds. Did have AJ Green for the first season. He failed to sign the contract to carry on and moved on. And then I brought in Emmanuel Sanders for season 2, but only on a 1-year contract. With the tight ends, I've got Njoku. I did have Umamar for 2 years, but I've traded him off. Left tackles, both showing potential youth on their side. Left guard position is one that I've got to take a look at for future. Centre, I've got Lawson. Need to bring someone in to replace Martin there for future, as he's most probably going to retire over the next few years or start regressing at least. Right tackle, Tillman I brought in on draft. Same with Drayton. Barnett there. So left end is a position I possibly need to take a look into in the upcoming draft. Carl Lawson for right end. Atkins still doing good there, 2 years gone. He's only sort of like regressed a little bit, so that's promising. However, I will need to bring in another defensive tackle more than likely. Left outside linebacker, is most probably going to be my number 1 target for the upcoming draft there. And then of course middle linebacker, not really much of a draft class for this. Same for right outside linebacker, not much of a draft class with regards to talent. Cornerbacks, I've got some good players here, but no one outstanding, shall we say. We'll see as to how that works out. And then free safety, Bates the third, not really much to worry about here. And strong safety, we've got Crevens. However, that is a position that I'll go about filling early. Bring up the statistics. So Jason Nicholson was 3rd in passing yards, 20th in touchdowns. Mixon 5th in rushing yards, 7th in touchdowns. Tyler Boyd was best of my wide receivers. Offensive yards was 10th and defensive yards 21st. And we'll get this going. Before we do, we'll just do a recap summary from free agency. Main league signings: Trent Williams signed with Tampa Bay there, and then Brandon Brooks went to the Miami Dolphins, right guard. Deshaun Watson, quarterback, has gone to the Chargers. William Jackson, who was part of my team but failed to re-sign contract, ended up going to the Washington Redskins. And James White, running back, went to the Indianapolis Colts. With the my signings, I brought in 7 players from free agency. It's just a quick run through on them. There we go. Right, we'll get this draft class started. So I've got 2 picks. I've got 2 picks in the first round. I've got the 8th and the 13th pick. Denver Broncos go up first, finishing 32nd, worst team with a 2-14 record. And they are going for...
The Rams are now on the clock.
Dill Hargrave, a wide receiver from Texas A&M with a 74 rating. Los Angeles Rams, second on the clock, ended up 4-11-1.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
They've gone with Emmanuel Kilgore, a defensive tackle from Oregon State. One of the best players as far as I was concerned in the draft class, and it's been proven he's got a 77 rating. Tampa Bay,
the Raiders are now on the clock.
Had the 3rd pick, and they've gone with Tony Buckley, a left end from Houston with a 77 rating. 4th pick goes to the Oakland / Las Vegas Raiders.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
And they've gone with Corey Canfield, a tight end from Miami with a 74 rating. Which means Pittsburgh are now on the clock with the 5th pick.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
And they've gone for Jammer Lane, a left end from Alabama with a overall rating of 75. San Francisco, the 49ers get the 6th pick.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Kidron Rowe, a cornerback from Utah, has been picked by them. He is a 75 rating. Arizona Cardinals on the clock with their...
The Bengals are now on the clock.
7th pick. They've gone at David Wilcox, a wide receiver from Miami with a 71 rating. Which now brings me on the clock with the first my picks for the Cincinnati Bengals. Pick number 8. And let's see as to what's available here. Main 2 positions I'm looking at the moment are left outside linebacker and a strong safety. Let's bring up my draft board. We've got Herbert there for left outside linebacker. strong safety Bowen. I've got him as number 8 on the board at the moment. Absolutely amazing stats there across the combine. Top 3 with regards to every single activity. A minus finesse moves, B plus pursuit, and B with a hit power. Talent projection early first round. However, he was projected late first. Just bring up Bowen quickly. A minus pursuit, B plus hit power, B on awareness, talent mid first, projected mid first. Once again, combine fantastic across the board there. However, outs lineback is more of a priority position for me. We do also have James Palmer there. Did very well also across the combine, apart from the 40-yard dash. 4.7 is not too bad for that, mind you, for that position. Mid first round talent, projected mid first with A minus pursuit. Only 21 years old. I would say, mind you, that Russell Herbert is, even though he's a few years older, is a better prospect, shall we say. So that is who I'm going for.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
And he is a 76 overall from Alabama, 23 years old, 6'4", 256 pounds. He's got a hidden dev trait. I've picked him 8th and he was ranked 6th in true value talent. So that's a decent start for what I need. We'll carry this on. Miami go on the clock with the 9th pick. And they are having a think.
The Titans are now on the clock.
They've gone with Niles Curtis, a right end from Ole Miss. 69 rating. That's a surprise pick. I'd say that's more like late first, early second talent.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Minnesota are on the clock now. Tennessee with their 10th pick have gone at James Palmer, left outside linebacker from Vanderbilt. He is a 75 rating.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
Minnesota with the 11th pick have gone Lionel Kendricks, a cornerback from Pittsburgh. And he is a 75 rating.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
And Washington with their 12th pick have gone Kelvin Knoll, a left outside linebacker from Miami, with a 72 rating. Which brings me back on the clock with the second of my first round picks at number 13. This time round, bring up the draft board again. Other positions I'm looking at here are strong safety, cornerback, centre, but I don't think there is anyone available on centre. Well, there's a few. We've got Jack Turner there. Could do with a right guard and a defensive tackle as well, I'd say. Do get there for. Let's have a look at him. Projected late second, talent early first. Defensive tackle, we've got Kondo there. He's projected third round. Shows late first round talent. Oh. However, I've a feeling this is a guy for me. Nelson Bowen. The strong safety from Alabama, only 21 years old.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Once again, has a hidden dev trait. He's got a 75 overall rating. I've picked him 13th, and his true value is 13th. Quite happy with that. 2 players picked, 2 dev traits. That's always a decent start. We'll carry this on. Now, I'm not back on the board until the third pick of the second round, but we'll see as to how things pan out. Detroit have the 14th pick.
The Jets are now on the clock.
They've gone Dan Goddard, a quarterback from Auburn, with a 70 rating. It's intriguing.
The Bills are now on the clock.
New York Jets with the 15th pick have gone Ron Thornton, a defensive tackle from Ohio State, with a 70 rating, which brings Buffalo up on the draft board at number 16.
The Packers are now on the clock.
They've picked Eli Franklin, a right tackle from Vanderbilt, with a 78. Most probably the best player amongst the class so far. There or thereabouts.
The Colts are now on the clock.
Green Bay with 17th pick have gone Lance Lloyd, left outside linebacker from Ferris State, only a 65. For first round, that is a bad pick by them.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Malcolm Young has gone to the Indianapolis Colts with the 17th pick. He's a wide receiver from East Carolina with a 64 rating.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
And one of the better picks has just been done by Philadelphia with their 19th pick on the draft. They've gone Antonio Hartwell, a running back from Texas, with an overall of 76.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
Jacksonville have gone for Angelo Carter, a middle linebacker from Akron, with a 64 rating. I'd say that's more like third round talent.
The Browns are now on the clock.
New England have gone for a quarterback, so Brady must have finally retired. They've gone Raleigh Graham from San Diego State, and he is a 71 rating.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Cleveland Browns go Deshaun Alderson, a free safety from Arizona State. The 22nd picked Cleveland's have got a 74 rated player. which brings up New York Giants.
The
23rd
Falcons
pick,
are now on the clock.
and they've gone for Dion Judge, a right end from LSU, with a overall rating of 74. Atlanta on the clock now with 24th pick.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
And they've gone Solomon Sanders, a right guard from USF, rated 75. Brings up Baltimore Ravens now, 25th pick.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
Kyle Paul, a right guard from Boston College, with a rating of 69. Carolina get the 26th pick,
The Chargers are now on the clock.
and they've decided to go with Mark Mills, a tight end from Tennessee. His overall rating is 67. San Diego, well, it's Los Angeles now, if I'm not mistaken.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
27th pick for them. Gabriel Volk, a tight end, Oklahoma State, rated a 66. Some dubious decisions by some of the teams so far here.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Dallas, the number one team of the last 2 years, made it to Super Bowl in year one, have gone Cedric Bourne, a cornerback from Florida State, with a rating of 71.
The Texans are now on the clock.
And Seattle Seahawks, with their 29th pick, have gone Deron Thornhill, a left end from North Dakota State, a rated 70 player.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Houston Texans Super Bowl winners in year one go with Nicholas Logan, a left end from Kentucky, rated 72.
The
First pick
Chiefs are now on the clock.
for Chicago there. They've gone Jared Allison, cornerback, Washington State, rated 68. Kansas City, for champions, get the last pick of round one.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
And they've gone Malik Tate, left guard from Ohio State. Again, a dubious decision there. Overall rating only 65. We're now on to round two. And it's time for Denver.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Gone Spencer Delman, a running back from Tulane, and he is rated 72. Brings up the LA Rams with pick number 34.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
And they've gone Jared Freely, a centre from USC, rated 66. And that means with the third pick of round two, it is back round to myself. Now, before I go ahead with this, I just want to see as to whether I'm being offered anything decent in the trades. Got a third and a fourth there from Denver. Minnesota are offering a third and a fourth for next year, as well as a fourth for this year. Tennessee are offering a second and a fourth. New England, second for next year, fourth for this year. Nothing amazing there. We'll see who's still on the board. Right, so still got quite a lot of projected first rounders here. Well, first round talent weren't projected first round, should I say. 8 of them left. Kondo. Do need a defensive tackle. I do need a cornerback. Manning's showing more potential. Good combine grade there for him. Top skills, B, B minus, B minus. Defense. 332 pounds, 6'5", 23 from Oklahoma. Last type's power. Early first round talent. I think we may just have to go for him. I've got a feeling, no, that this guy here may well get picked very soon. And I am looking at left end as well, Burley. I've got 4 picks in this round. I've got to decide as to who. Do I just go with the top 2 here? Not risk allowing them to drop down much further? So I can't guarantee that either of them will still be on the board come 19th, 20th pick, let alone 8th. I think we will go. Yeah, we're going to go with Cameron.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Right. Normal Dev. True value 7th. I've drafted him 35th. However, I'll go with that. He's a right guard. 76. Carry it on. The Raiders have the 4th pick, 2nd round.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
And they've gone Edward Durant, a right end from Texas A&M with a 69 rating. Pittsburgh Steelers get the 5th pick.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
They've gone Bruce McLeod, a middle linebacker from Utah with a 65 rating. Brings up San Fran with a 6th pick. 49ers are going to go with...
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Houston Austin, a tight end from Florida with an overall rating of 69. Cardinals get the 7th pick. Pick number 39.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
I had a feeling this goal would go soon, and I was right there. James Iglesias, left guard from Purdue. He's got a 70 overall rating. And that means, once again, it's round to myself for Cincinnati with the 8th pick in round 2. See whether I'm being offered anything decent. It's unlikely. Houston. If that was a 2nd and a 4th, I'd take it. New England are offering me a whole load of spots for next year. Miami a 3rd next year and 2 4ths. Once again, though, I think I'll go. Take a look at this. So we've got Madden still on there. Now Manning isn't projected to go until the mid-3rd. GJ Fox, a right tackle, 5th round. Right, Manning is early 1st, late 1st. Well, they've all for mid-1st rounders been picked. Unless I've placed them somewhere else by mistake, it does seem like so. Which leaves me no choice. I've got to go with the guy who's by far the best on the board, Shane Manning. He is a cornerback from Connecticut, 22 years old, 5'10", 211 pounds. Did generally hit the grade with regards to the majority of the combine. He's an early 1st round talent. Welcome to Cincinnati.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
True value 5th, and I've picked him at 40th. Normal dev trait, but that's 4 players I've managed to get hold of 75 or above. Right, just hope that none of the other targets get picked now before the next one in about 10 picks time. Miami have the 9th pick. They are...
The Titans are now on the clock.
Going for Rashawn Burney, a wide receiver from Texas. Rating of 67.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Tennessee, with their 10th pick in round 2, have gone Jameson Jackson, a running back from Ohio, and he is a 68 rating. Brings up
the Redskins are now on the clock.
Minnesota. They've gone Harry Bradley, a left end from Buffalo, rated 70. That was one of the positions I was looking at, but not
The Packers are now on the clock.
urgent. Defensive tackles start going right. Malcolm Peters from Texas, 73 rating, has gone to Washington with a 12th pick in round 2.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Green Bay have gone with Brandon Powers, a running back from BYU. He is a 69 rating. Detroit,
The Jets are now on the clock.
with their 14th pick, have gone Rashard Weeks, running back from Tulsa, and he is a overall rating of 65.
The Bills are now on the clock.
New York, with the 15th pick, have gone Mike Finley, a right end from NC State, and his overall rating is 68. Brings up Buffalo with a 16th
The
pick.
Saints are now on the clock.
They've gone Braden Wary, a right end from Oregon, overall rating of 69. Brings onto the clock New Orleans. The Saints have got the 17th pick.
The Colts are now on the clock.
They've gone Marion Boise, a cornerback from Utah, rated 67. Indianapolis, the Colts get the 18th pick in round 2,
The Bengals are now on the clock.
and they've gone Nathan White, a defensive tackle from BYU. He is a 69. And that means I now have the next 2 picks, the 19th and 20th pick in round 2. Choose wisely. Kondo is still there. So is Fox. I brought in one cornerback. Don't necessarily need a second. Positions I do need to fill. Left end, MLB. I don't think there's anyone decent in either of those positions that I managed to locate. DeAndre Dixon, mid-second round. 4th round projection. MLB, nothing really there that I managed to locate. So they're not priorities at the moment. Let's bring up the full draft board that I had. Right, so we've got a right end as being the number 1 pick. And then we've got Bart Frederick, but we've already got a cornerback. We do need a defensive tackle. I think that means that this may be our guy. Kondo had a fantastic combine report, being power moves, being play recognition, the B- in block shredding. He's only 21 years old. projected mid-third. Don't really want to risk it down to those later positions. It is a position that I do need depth in. I feel that this is our man. Let's just take a look at whether there was anyone else that I highlighted. Brown and Whittington could potentially go for them in later rounds. Right, so Condo it will be, I reckon.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Normal dev, but it's a good run stopper and power stopper. He was ranked 31st in true value, and I've picked him at 51. I'll take that. Brings me on the clock again with the 20th pick. Now, before I do this, let's bring up the draft board again because I just want to double check these positions out. DJ Fox. Alright, so it's right end, cornerback, and right tackle. I'll take a look at my team. Because I want to make sure as to how we're looking in these three positions. Right, so that's not really a concern looking at this. Defensive tackle. I just brought in a defensive tackle, didn't I? On what position was he? Cornerback? That would seem to suggest that if I do bring in a cornerback in this position, he's only going to end up 6th amongst my list. Maybe 5th. Don't know how I progressed last season, mind you. And I have lost Jackson. The other position I'm looking at is right tackle. Now I've got 2 youngsters there who are only going to get better and better over time. However, left tackle's also looking good. I could possibly bring one of these players into a central position. And right guard is a position that needs some work. Even though I have brought in McDougall. I've got a feeling DJ Fox is going to need to be the person unless I can get a good draft position for him. He's projected 5th. Can we get a good trade going here? 80th and 112th. Now my next pick after this isn't until 75, so it is a risk. Got a third and 7th there from Atlanta. Indianapolis are offering me the 82nd pick, as well as a 3rd for next year. Buffalo are offering me a 3rd and a 4th, which would mean 80th, 82nd, or 90th. This is a tough call. I think we're going to trade to Buffalo. However, before I do, let's check for depth and talent for the right tackle position. Jack Turner's still on the board. Oh, and the left guard. This is a tough decision to make, shall we say. Projected early 5th. I am not going to take a risk. I am going to go for him. No, actually, I am going to take a risk. Trade away. And I will trade to Buffalo. And for this pick for trade, I'll get a round 3 80th and a round 4 112.
What wait, looks like both war rooms are feverishly back on the phones. I think that means a trade is coming.
And that trade has been accepted. Now I've just got to hope that this has been a wise decision by me, because I really need DJ Fox to stay on the board for another 20 picks. Only time will tell, of course, but let's see as to whether this does work out. We'll run through the end of this second round and then start speeding things up.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
Jack Turner, a centre from Frisco State, has gone to Buffalo, rated 69. Was one player that I was looking at, but so be it.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Jimmy Brown has gone to New England. He is a running back from Florida with an overall rating of 67.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Joey Haste, a running back from Texas A&M, has gone to Cleveland with the 22nd pick in round 2. He is rated 63.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Morris Moreland, a running back, not a running back, a wide receiver even, from Florida A&M, has gone to New York. He is rated 67.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Lionel McKinley, right end from Virginia Tech, has been picked by Atlanta with the 24th pick in round 2. Overall rating of 70.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
Gregory Conrad, a right end from NC State, has been picked by Baltimore. He is rated 68.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
Tim Sweetin, a right outside linebacker from Duke, has gone to Carolina for 64 rating.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Josh Horton, a cornerback from Alabama, has gone to the Chargers. 69 rating. Brings up Dallas,
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
who go Jarrett Culloway, a middle linebacker from Akron, with an overall rating of 64.
The Texans are now on the clock.
Seattle go Bart Frederick. I knew he had to be picked soon enough. Cornerback from Cincinnati, rated 71.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Emmanuel McDonald's, a wide receiver from Richmond has been picked by Houston. Overall rating of 67.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Jason Murdoch, tight end from Northern Iowa, goes to Chicago with a 31st pick in round 2. He has got an overall rating of 66. And with the last pick in round 2,
are now on the clock.
Harvey Fuller has gone to Kansas City. He is a right guard from Alabama with an overall rating of 66. Now, I have absolutely crazy amount of picks in these next 2 rounds, but then nothing after through to all the trades and that I've been doing. We've got an 11th, 16th, 21st, 23rd, 25th. Bring up the draft board. Quite a lot of these guys here are projected 4th rounds. It may all just be worth me getting a hold of these guys for future. So after that point, as you can see, it does drop down a fair bit. We'll see as to how it pans out, but we will just go about progressing it bit by bit. So, Broncos with a 65th pick.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Spencer Stacy, quarterback, Buffalo, 70. LA Rams.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Lynn Freya, cornerback, Colorado State, 67. Tampa Bay.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
What's that? Dante Scott, tight end, Liberty, 66. The Giants.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Go Jalen Huggins, middle linebacker, Baylor, 64. Pittsburgh Steelers.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Harlan Morris, a cornerback from Purdue, 67. San Francisco.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
K.A. Beckett, left outside linebacker, Oklahoma State, 64. Arizona.
The Packers are now on the clock.
Rob McMillan, quarterback, Buffalo, 67. Green Bay.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Have also got for quarterback Nate Cunningham, East Carolina, with a 63 rating. Tampa Bay once again.
The Titans are now on the clock.
Kerry Verdin, right outside linebacker from Alabama, with a 66. And Tennessee are going with
the Bengals are now on the clock.
Lillard Wynn, a quarterback even from Penn State, 67 rating. It looks like this has paid off. Oh, it has indeed. DJ is still on the board. Even though I've got picks further on down, I don't think it's a wise idea to leave it any longer. So with the 75th pick, I am going for DJ Fox, a right tackle from Penn State. He is 23 years old, 6'4", 307 pounds. Did pretty well in the combine class, apart from 40-yard dash. It's a B+ lead block, B with a run block, and B with pass block finesse.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
He has a hidden death trait, which is good. He was ranked 32nd in true value, and I've picked him 75th. There we have it. Right, just a few more picks and it's round to me again. So,
the Raiders are now on the clock.
Washington go with Cassie Baldwin, a center from Virginia. He is a 66. The Raiders go with...
the Lions are now on the clock.
DeAndre Dixon, left end from Wyoming. He is a 69 rating. Detroit.
The Jets are now on the clock.
Go Oscar Pollard, the right outside linebacker from Nebraska with a 64 rating. And the New York Jets go...
the Bengals are now on the clock.
Kevin Harris, quarterback from Texas A&M with a 64 rating. Brings me back on the board with my required pick from Buffalo. Just for the sake of it, we're going to see as to what's offered again. Fourth in this year, fourth in next year by Cleveland. Fourth and a fifth, fourth and a fifth. The deal's being offered by Atlanta and... well, both of these are next year. Atlanta makes no sense. We've got a third and a fourth for next year from Indianapolis. That might be worth doing actually. No one else has offered anything as good. I've got my main positions filled. I've got 3 more picks coming up. We will acquire some picks for next year, so we'll do that trade with Indianapolis.
How come nobody's at the podium? That's because both teams are right now working on a trade.
See whether this pays off. So Indy are going for...
the Saints are now on the clock.
I can't even pronounce that guy's first name. Okay, I don't know. Bristol. Running back Butler, 63. New Orleans.
The Colts are now on the clock.
Go Jay Dyer, a center from Memphis, 67. Indianapolis.
The Eagles are now on the
Go
clock.
Billy Baker, a quarterback from Florida with a 64 rating. Philadelphia.
The Buccaneers are now
Go
on the clock.
Reggie Murray, a wide receiver from Florida State with a 66 rating. Tampa Bay.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Carlos Shields, a left tackle from Wyoming with a 65 rating. Now, centre is a position that I really should have been taking a look at, but it wasn't. It wasn't what I considered a necessity, shall we say. However, it's getting to that point where I may have to just take a look at it. Part of me's thinking just trade. No. I've got all of my main positions filled. So I'll bring up the draft board. Could well be worth just bringing in some players in that. All these guys are projected early second. Well, Brown's projected mid second, but and then we go on to the third rounders. Early second. Early second. Let's just get the best on the board by what I could find. So it means Arthur Adams, a right end from Miami, 22 years old, joins us.
The Browns are now on the clock.
That's not bad. True value is 39th, 69 rating. Cleveland, with their pick, go
The Bengals are now on the clock.
John Murdoch, right tackle. Notre Dame, 69 rating. Which was the other guy that I was looking at. Right, leaves me with two defensive tackles. B's across the board. B's across the board, but a much better combine. Kelvin Whittington from Vanderbilt. He's a defensive tackle. Will be joining me.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
True value 44th. I've drafted him 87th. He is a 69 rating and fits into my scheme. Right, Atlanta Falcons are now on the clock.
My dazza.
So Atlanta are going for
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Bengals.
Moses Bolton, a free safety from North Texas. He is a 63 rating. Brings me back up yet again. However, I may well trade this pick away. Let's see as to what's available. New Orleans are offering me a third and a sixth for next year.
Bedtime.
Other than that, there's not really much being offered. So, do we just take this? think we do. Let's trade for a third and a sixth for next year. Unless there's someone that really stands out here, then I think that's what I'm going to do. Oh, and left quarterbacks wise that I'm looking at. Oh, that does help if I'm looking at the right bit. So, fourth rounder, fourth. Early third projection for Justin Irwin. Late third. Late third. Tight end isn't really a position I'm looking at, but just in case. We do still have this guy here. So that's Crosby in a right tackle position. Now, not a concern now. Sam Green, a right end. Well, I suppose we could bring in another defensive tackle. That would mean that I'll have 3. Darius Hall. Early third round projection. Now, things with someone like this could be I think we'll just leave that be. So we do have a defensive tackle here that's projected second round. Well, projection's a bit late fourth. All the indications seem to be telling me to hold off. Take another look at this. Yep, I am going to trade to New Orleans. And that trade will be for a 2022 round 3 and a round 6.
I see both teams filling out cards. You know what that means? We've got a trade.
There we go. Let's carry this on. So New Orleans go with
The Panthers are now on the clock.
Jeffrey Wilkinson, a free safety from Florida A&M, 64. Carolina,
The Chargers are now on the clock.
Clint Robertson, a right tackle from Louisville, 64. Chargers are on the clock again. They go for
The Saints are now on the clock.
Norman Curtin, quarterback, Washington State, 64. New Orleans go with
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Elijah Evans, middle linebacker, Penn State, 66. Seattle Seahawks,
The Texans are now on the clock.
Justin Irwin, a wide receiver from Liberty, is 67. Houston go with
The Bears are now on the clock.
Sam Green, a right end from Fresno State, he is a 67. Chicago go with
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Theodore Russell, a right guard from NC State, he is a 68 rating. And the Chiefs, to end round 3,
The Broncos are now on the clock.
there is Jared, a tight end from Purdue, he is a 66. Right, we are just going to fast forward everything now, so go on to my next pick.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
And I am on to round 4, pick 16. For any of you who've just joined, I'll show you as to everything that I've got so far. So this is who I've managed to pick so far in the draft. And I have 4 more picks left. Let's see as to who's available on here. So not many people left on my draft board now. Got an early third there in Butter Dean. Late third in Chester O'Neill. The position I should have dealt with ages ago, but left it. Joey Pearson, a centre. Defensive tackle, I brought in a couple already, but he is by far the best that I've got left on my projection board. So I'll bring him in just for the sake of it.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Not bad considering. Normal dev trait, 24, so one of the older players from Oregon State. 303 pounds, 6'5", but his archetypes fit into my scheme pretty well. With 67 overall. Once again, we'll just now fast forward, even though it's only a few spots.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
From here, let's bring up draft board again, so I've still got a few there. Those are better field positions that I just need as a secondary at now, so we will go with Joey Person.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Once again, I would say that is a 66 rating. 22, normal dev trait, true value 93. Fast forward.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Right, I think I've only got 2 spots left now. So yeah, 24th, 26th. We do need a wide receiver to plug things up.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Also a 66, true value 96, 21 years old, fits into slot position. South Carolina. Fast
The
forward.
Bengals are now on the clock.
Also, there were still a couple of decent centres left on the board because Baltimore just picked one themselves. Right. This should mean that this is the last guy I've got left. My projections, late 4th now. Let's see who I scouted. Not much going there. Do have D'Angelo Long, mid-5th. Once again, now I think we just go with the best left who I had projected, and that is this guy, Leslie Barrett from Nebraska.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
He's 64. 24 years old. I don't mind that, to be fair. I'll take that. We will just fast forward until the end now because I've got no more draft picks. Let's sim all the way through. And do a recap. So, for the amount of time that these guys are contracted for, I will take this. So Hubbard, my main guy, he's going to be on about 17 million over 4 years, which is just over 4.3 million, if I'm not mistaken. But he's just the kind of player I need. For Bowen, it's going to be on about 14.5 for 4 years. Works out to an average of about 3.6 mil per year. or a bit less than that. Oh, because it's 13.6, right. And then I'll just scroll on down. So in general, I'd say I've done really good once again overall. Field positions are needed. And overall I've brought in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 players. We bring up the whole list. Let's see as to who's found the best players in the draft. So the top rated player in this draft was only a 78. He was a right tackle. Ooh. '78. Oh, did I get 376? I did. Blimey. So this I've got 4th, 5th and 6th. Now I've got Bow in there as well. Right, that is it from this year's draft class. Thank you for joining. I hope you've enjoyed.